There was a woman at my front door with keys to my flat, and she was not happy to see me. It was 9 o'clock on a Saturday. I'd been enjoying the kind of slow morning you earn after a long week. Coffee, no plans. The knock came, and I assumed it was a parcel, so I answered it in my dressing gown. She was late 20s, ring binder under one arm, and in her other hand, held slightly up, a set of keys. "Hi," she said, "I'm Chloe. I think my dad's spoken to you. I'm moving in today." I looked at her. I looked at the keys. I looked back at her. "I live here," I said. Something crossed her face, not quite panic, the first flicker of a story falling apart. "He said the flat would be free from the 1st, she said. "That was 5 days ago." "Your dad hasn't spoken to me," I said. "About anything, ever, really. And I've got a tenancy agreement, so this flat is very much not free." "But I've got keys." "So do I said. "Having keys and having the right to live somewhere are two very different things." She stood there for a second, and then she turned and went down to the stairwell, and I heard her on the phone. I couldn't make out the words, but I could hear the shape of it. Confused, then upset, then that long, flat silence of someone being told something they don't want to hear by someone who should have told them the truth in the first place. Her dad, my landlord, was called Gerald. I'd met him twice in 4 years. He took the rent by standing order, texted maybe once a year, and had never given me a moment's trouble. And now he'd sent his own daughter to my door to try and walk me out of my home with a ring binder. I closed the door. I went to the drawer where I keep the important stuff, and I pulled out my tenancy agreement. I read it at the kitchen table. All 4 years of it. The original agreement. Every renewal letter. I'd kept every one because a bad experience years ago taught me that paperwork is the only thing that actually protects you. Here's what it said in plain terms. Gerald could not just end my tenancy. Not with a knock, not with his daughter, not with keys. To get me out, he had to serve me proper written notice, in the correct legal form with the correct amount of time. He hadn't served anything. He'd just told Chloe the flat was hers and gambled that I'd be too polite or too scared to argue. Gerald called me that afternoon, and suddenly he was my best friend. "Look, I think there's been a bit of a mix-up," he said. "Chloe's had a rough time, split up with her fella, needs somewhere to stay. I was hoping we could sort something out between us, man to man." "I'm happy to sort something out," I said. "Brilliant, brilliant. It starts with you serving me proper written notice, in the correct form, giving me time to find somewhere decent." A pause. "I was hoping we could keep it friendlier than that," he said. "I was hoping you wouldn't send your daughter to my door on a Saturday morning with a set of my keys," I said. "So I suppose we're both a bit disappointed." Silence. "I'll be in touch," he said. "You do that," I said, and I made myself another coffee and went back to my Saturday. The proper notice arrived the following week. Correct form. Correct notice period. Someone had clearly sat Gerald down and explained how the law actually works, because it was a world away from the ring binder. The notice gave me 4 months, and I used every day of them. I viewed 6 flats. I found a better one in the 2nd month. Bigger, quieter street, closer to work, and a landlord who came recommended by a mate who'd rented from him for years with 0 drama. And then I did something small that gave me a lot of quiet satisfaction. I left on the very last day of the notice period, not a day early. I had the right to those 4 months, and I took every single one. Before I handed the keys back, I cleaned the place top to bottom and photographed every room. I emailed Gerald a full checkout with the photos and the meter readings attached. He returned my deposit in full within 8 days. He knew better than to try anything by that point. Chloe moved in the week after I left. I hope she's happy there. It's a genuinely lovely flat. Good light, quiet neighbours. The sun comes through the kitchen in the morning. I just wasn't going to hand it over because a stranger knocked on my door and assumed I'd fold. The whole thing cost Gerald 4 months and a lesson. It cost me nothing but the effort of knowing my own tenancy agreement. Read what you sign. Keep every letter. And when someone knocks on your door and tells you your home isn't yours, smile and go and check the paperwork. Has anyone ever assumed you'd just go quietly? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more complete stories with no part 2s that never come, follow the page. New story every day.